Welcome to Medical Sales U. I'm Dave Sterrett, your host. Today, we are answering the question, how do you create a 30, 60, 90 business plan for medical device or pharmaceutical sales? Now, if you're trying to break into medical device or pharma sales, or even advance your career into a new specialty, the 30, 60, 90, the 30, 60, 90 is one tool that can help you stand out. Now, most of your competition will create something similar to this. I remember when I was going out for my first interview, I remember I was seeking out mentors, and one of them, said, "Hey, I will refer you, but let me take a look at your business plan." I'm like, "I don't have one." And I was going up for my first interview, and I did not have a customized business plan. And so I created one. Another guy took a look at that and said, "Well, where's your 30, 60, 90?" Well, again, I did not include one into my customized business plan. And so he coached me through it. And this was way back 10 years ago when I was just trying to break into the area of medical device. But here's the thing. Most of your competition will use some type of presentation. And I want to share some things with your 30, 60, 90 business plan that will make you stand out. Now, let's be clear. You will not get hired every single time. But what I believe is in the pool of all these applications, if you have a good 30, 60, 90 business plan, you will get a seat at the table. And what it means is it will be tailor-made. And what we're going to teach you today is very important, that when you use this, we will teach you how to use AI, but how to make it so it's not obvious that you're using AI, how you will go in and tailor it. So I want to give you 10 things that will belong in your customized business plan that will make your plan stand out against your competition. So you won't sound like a robot. You won't be so generic, okay? So before we jump into those 10, let me just make a couple notes about AI. So first of all, yes, we do use AI. It's a good tool, and I think it's okay. Now, I've had pushback. When I first started teaching this, they're like, well, that doesn't, I had these seasoned reps say, well, that does not replace what I've done, all the work, and you can coach all your reps to stand out and beat us out and so forth like that in your interviews and your Medical Sales U program. But I have the experience. I have the relationships with these physicians. And what I would say is AI can be a good tool, right, for your customized, towards your customized business plan that you do day to day. Like when you're seeing 6 accounts or you want to do research into one of your physicians, AI can speed up the process. It can help you organize your Excel spreadsheets, your call points. And so if you're doing your patient mapping as well, you will want to use that when you're in the field. So I will say this, seasoned reps, when you're interviewing, you want to use it. But let me just share a few things, okay? So I like ChatGPT. I like to start there. I like Claude. But you don't want to just stay there. Let me just give a warning. Claude and ChatGPT will make things up. So what you will want to do is you want to fact check your doctors. Make sure that you go to the accounts, you go to the websites of these accounts. And so in this 30, 60, 90, you will have these targets. You will talk about, these are the doctors, these are the practices that I will sell to, and you will want to include them by name, but make sure that AI is not just making them up, okay? With the FDA approvals, keep in mind that you're not just, interviewing for this company, but it's a specific product. So if you're interviewing for pharmaceutical sales, make sure that you pull the FDA label yourself. Make sure that if it's not FDA approved, you're reading articles, that you are well informed about the product that you're selling. Number 2, don't sound like AI. I do use AI. We're all busy. We use it to speed up the process. But there are tools that you will want to limit. For example, that long M-dash. Go in. You don't have to delete all of them, but delete some of them, okay? Get rid of some of those long M-dashes. Get rid of emojis. Also, here's one thing that AI does. They'll use this phrase, it's not just this, it's that. It's not just a customer, it's a changed life. It's not just selling, it's cross-collaboration. It's not just showing up, it's grit. Now, there's all these cheesy statements. So when you're doing your cover letter and also your 30, 60, 90, I think this is a good tool to use sometimes, but make sure that you don't overuse it. Make sure that it's your own voice. And then third, I would just say this, customize it. I love that these AI-generated plans look sharp, but sometimes they all look identical. That's why I don't give you the template. Now, we have some in the past, but I am starting to downplay that in our program because some of you guys, you do these templates for your 30, 60, 90 or cover letter or resume, and they all look identical. And so these companies are looking and you all have the same exact thing. So you have to customize it. Sometimes if you use Claude to create your 30, 60, 90, you want to go in there and change the font. Maybe change it to Times New Roman or change it to a font Arial or something that makes it you and not just the font that they are giving you. Okay, so here we are. I want to give you the 10 things that will make your 30, 60, 90 stand out. I'm saying this in 2026. And this will help you to get a seat at the table. Number one, okay, so what you want to do is the job description. You go to the company website, not just LinkedIn. Copy the job description and then ask Claude to integrate it into your 30, 60, 90. You copy it and then, Claude is going to say what they're looking for. You want to integrate this. Number two, go to the company website. What is the company's mission and culture? Research their mission, their values. So if we just had someone integrate this and just land a job offer with Eli Lilly. Well, guess what? Eli Lilly has these 4 areas that are their missions. They integrated it. I remember when I was doing one of these for Johnson & Johnson, they had their credo. And sure enough, I integrated their doctrinal statement, their credo into this, their mission into this. I remember interviewing with Azai, and they had all this about Florence Nightingale and the culture of the patient first. And I integrated their mission. So make sure that you know the mission. Now, here's what a lot of rookies who are trying to break into the industry miss, and that is product knowledge. Number 3, when you create your 30, 60, 90, make sure that you know not just the company, but the product. They will ask you these questions. Why you? Tell me about yourself. They are not wanting you to actually walk them through your entire resume. They want to just get to know you a little bit more. And they want to know, what is it about your skill set and your story that will align to what they are looking for? So you want to make sure that beyond that, you know their culture, their company. But here's key. Number 3 is product knowledge. What do you know about the drug or the product that you're selling? Now, there are 5 things that you want to nail. That is number 1, the indication, the disease that is approved to treat. You also want to know the mechanism of action, the MOA, the mechanism of action, and how it actually works in the body. The endpoints. What was the trial measuring? Was it measuring, like in cancer, overall survival? The comparator. What was it being tested against? Was it standard care? Was it a placebo? And you also want to know, what is the FDA approval and the trial data? So let me just say this, for those of you who are brand new to pharma, a quick refresher into some of the terminology. You want to look, for example, like when you read about the clinical trial, keep in mind that phase 1 of the clinical trial, that's safety. Phase 2 is, does it work? And phase 3, is it better than what's already out there? So a lot of times you're looking at a phase 3 clinical trial, and just learn these tools. I believe that cancer is a great place for many of you. You've been in pharma for a while, and now you want to break into a new specialty. We have people come to us in device. They're tired of doing ortho, and they want to break into oncology because they see this is where There's more money pumped into cancer than any disease. There's more innovation, and they see themselves either in genetic testing or diagnostics with cancer or in precision medicine with a new breakthrough pharmaceutical drug. Now, if you've been in pharma, I believe that cancer is a great place. So when you are doing this business plan, make sure that you understand, basically in your 30-60-90, mention the clinical trial, mention the drug that you're selling. What is the indication? If there's a stat that you can cite, a lot of times if you go to the drug website, you'll see these numbers. They're advertised, such and such percentage of survival or response rate. You just want to know those basic numbers. Not everything, just the basics. All right, number 4, that's the competitive analysis. Who is your competition? What are their products? Know their trial results, their approvals, their selling points. And you want to build the strategies that show how your product wins. Hiring managers love a candidate who already understands the battlefield of what you're going up against. That you not only know their company and say, I want to work for this company, but you know the product and you know the competition. Number 5 is this, the key accounts and the physicians. Now, if you've been in the industry, you can always leverage the relationships that you already have. And there's a lot of hiring managers who rely on this point way too much. I think it's overrated. And I think hiring managers who are listening to me right now, you know that a lot of times you can have a seasoned rep who can brag all the time about how they know these doctors, but it doesn't always transfer that those physicians will automatically start prescribing your treatment. But I will say this, you have to name drop the actual physicians who will be most likely to prescribe your drug. So you have to do your research. You have to talk to other reps. And I think you do your homework. You can use AI to say, okay, who are the physicians who will most likely prescribe this drug in this territory? This is where I live. I live in Columbus, Ohio. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I live in Austin, Texas. But you want to go back to the website of those physicians so that in your 30, 60, 90, you have already fact-checked them. You already know if those physicians are practicing at that location, because AI will get this wrong. And this is where you have to go in and show that you're doing the research. And then as you're talking to other reps, you might want to reach out and say, why is there a vacancy? If the former rep is still with the company, maybe they've been promoted into a new territory, or maybe they've been promoted as a manager, or maybe they're in a role like a key account manager, or perhaps a thought leader liaison, or a field reimbursement manager, one of these roles. Reach out to them. Start learning about the challenges of those physicians, but make sure that in your 30, 60, 90, number 5 is you have to include the names of not just the hospitals, but the physicians who will likely prescribe your drug. Number 6 is this, your internal and cross-functional team. You will not sell this alone. In one sense, you kind of do, but you will always be collaborating with other people. You want to reach out to these people in the process. I teach our members every day, you're going to be adding people on LinkedIn, not just pressing add. You will be very strategic to add people within the division, within a nearby state or the state in which you live, and you will be closing on phone calls. We teach you how not to get ghosted. You have to keep your message short to them. You leave your cell number. And then you get really organized with a Excel spreadsheet, and you have to keep notes. Who are you reaching out to? Okay. And what I say in this whole process is try to find out who's working your territory already. And in the interview process, ask for an introduction. Hey, can you introduce me to the field reimbursement manager? Oh, there's an associate. Oh, there's someone working in lung cancer. Can you introduce me to them? And you will start understanding a little bit more about the accounts, a little bit more about the challenges. And if someone is ever helpful to you, thank them. send them a message, and then ask for a referral. Who can they introduce you to next? Always ask for the next step. That might not be necessarily the next interview, but can they introduce you to another rep who's successful? I say, look, you've been very successful, and you have helped me to understand some of the challenges that you face, and you have succeeded. Would you be open to introducing me to another rep in this territory? Maybe who's in the state of Ohio, maybe the Cincinnati rep or the Cleveland rep. Would you introduce them to me so that I can get to know them and just learn from their experience as well? And sometimes they'll do that. And then at the end of that phone call, if it goes well, I throw out, hey, would you be open to taking a look at my customized business plan? Then you message them, okay? And you will be tweaking this 30, 60, 90. This 30, 60, 90 will be included as one piece of your customized business plan that includes your awards, that includes your letters of recommendation, that includes that cover letter to the hiring manager, okay? So then once you get into this 30, 60, 90, back to it, you will want to, number 6, I go ahead and I list names of people that I have already talked to within the company. When that hiring manager just skims this document, they will skim down and they will recognize some of the names of people in this territory. And when you can list 6 or 7 names that you've already spoken to, it shows that you can do sales. Why is that so important? Because when you're selling in pharma, it's not just the doctor. It's people in billing. It's nurses. It's the pharmacists. It's all these people that make decisions, and you will have to work them all. And if you say, well, I just can't talk to the doctor, or the doctor was just biased, and doctor just went with someone who they're more familiar with, well, guess what? You may not be cut out for this. But if you can prove and demonstrate that you know how to network, you know how to be organized, you can reach out to the pharmacist. Well, okay, if you're doing those things now, you're reaching out to field reimbursement manager, you're reaching out to the MSL, you're reaching out to the CAM, the key account manager, you're learning more about the territory, and you name drop them in your 30, 60, 90. This will help you to, the hiring manager will look and say, you've talked to all these people already? Okay, let's get to it. Number 7, days 1 through 30. You want to learn the territory. This is your territory analysis, the stakeholder mapping. You will want to mention some of the language that they're asking for. You can ask AI to integrate that into your first 30 days. You want to map the patient journey. When your patient is treated with this particular disease, you want to talk about all the people that you will have to identify. These are people that are essential contacts across every single department. The physicians, nursing, billing, pharmacy, hospital administrators. And you will want to lay this out in your 30, 60, 90. And go ahead and in that first 30 days, talk about your competitive analysis. You will want to maybe mention that you've done your research on the prescribing behavior. And we provide tools in our course with this that you can gain the analysis and intelligence ahead of time. When you get into days 31 and 6 through 60, this is number 8, you want to talk about how you are continuing upon engaging these accounts. You're on the offense. You're building a strategic territory. You know how to manage your Monday through Friday. You have a strategy for your month. You have a strategy for week by week. You know what it's like from 8 to 5. And you're cultivating that relationship building. You have proactively scheduled in services. You know creative ways to think outside of it. Like in cancer, they use this app called RxVantage. It's an app in which reps, these accounts will say, well, we only schedule our in-service lunches through the app RxVantage. Well, guess what? It all gets booked out sometimes months and months or even a year in advance. And they say, well, it's all booked out. We don't do any more lunches because we only book through RxVantage. Well, you will have to think of some creative ways of how to get around that. Do you know a nurse manager? Well, they do a coffee bar. I did this at one of my accounts here in Columbus. They said, we only go through RxVantage. Well, I called the nurse manager. I'm like, what about coffee bar? Well, when they have a coffee bar, guess what? These reps, these nurses, these physicians, when they stop by in the morning to get their coffee, well, they have to wait a couple minutes, and then you get to talk to them about your drug. And guess what? My field reimbursement manager, had some challenges getting in, talking to some people in billing. So I brought her along so that she also could talk to people about their challenges, about access and reimbursement, okay? So days 61 through 90, this is number 9. You own it. This is where you start building upon your account penetration. You execute your strategy. It's your multi-channel outreach. You include this. You show yourself that you're kind of like the quarterback. You are collaborating with all these people on your team. You're taking charge. You're owning the territory. And by this time, it's not just laying the groundwork. If the drug is FDA approved, you are closing on business. Now, if you're part of a launch and a product is not approved yet, you're building this relationship. But most of you breaking in, the product is already approved. And that means you're closing on business. And hopefully, I would say closing on business way before that. But by this time, you're no longer a rookie. You're not just ramping, you're running, okay? Number 10. This is the last tip I would give about this customized business plan is you want to present it with confidence. Don't just have it written down. You want to be able to tell the story. In our program at Medical Sells You, what I coach our members to do is to practice it. And you want to practice it, record yourself. And then the other thing about the customized business plan, you integrate this 30-60-90 as part of your business plan. And that customized business plan, you save it in one PDF, not a bunch of documents. You don't want to have your resume here, your cover letter here, and then your 30-60-90 where you're attaching 3 documents in an email. No, no, no. Do not do that. What you want to do is save it in one PDF so that you send this PDF not just to the hiring manager, but after you have closed on a phone call with someone, you tell them, you're like, this has been very helpful. I was wondering if you could take a look at this customized business plan and give me your feedback. Now, in that conversation with them, you will learn new things. So always be tweaking this business plan. And I give this early. So by the time you're in your 3rd interview, you're now not just sharing that business plan, you have a new PowerPoint presentation. And so I think if you are able to present this with confidence, and you also are sharing it not just with the hiring manager, but you're networking with other reps, you're networking with other people on your team, and you're giving this to them in advance, this will make you stand out. Also, the whole thing about a 30-60-90, if you just include it as one piece of your customized business plan or your AKA brag book in one PDF, is helpful. So you're not just attaching it. And here's what we teach in our course. You have your cover page with the logo of the company that you're interviewing with. You have the cover letter. You address that hiring manager by name. Never, ever, ever write to whom it may be concerned. You know the hiring manager. You have figured that out. And that shows that you can sell too, because if you can't figure that out, then how are you going to figure out which doctor will likely prescribe your treatment? You have to figure it out. We go into detail about tips of how you can do that in our program. But it starts by continuing to talk to people and ask the right questions. And then fact checking your AI search with people, with real people that you've closed on phone calls with. So then you include your 30-60-90 as one piece of your customized business plan. And again, you have to have those letters of recommendation. I say 5 is a great number. And we go into detail more in our program about how to secure those quickly, who to go after. But, with your 30-60-90, This is a key piece that will make the hiring manager at least pause and give you a seat to the table. They will interview you if you have presented this to other sales reps and if you have networked properly and made those tweaks. So after you talk to one rep, you thank them. This has been very helpful. I have an interview next Thursday. I was wondering if you'd be willing to introduce me to another rep so that as I'm exploring this possibility, I can learn more about it. And that business plan keeps getting better and better and better. And you tweak it along the way. You do these things instead of just a stagnant, boring 30, 60, 90 or these AI 30, 60, 90. You use AI. Go ahead and use Claude, but make sure that you own the message that it's really you. And let me just give you some other tips. Let me just give you one quick tip right now. Before the interview, you want to find out as you're talking to these other reps really early on the phone call, why is that job open? Because that is going to tell you a lot about the role. You do not want to wait until your official interview to ask the hiring manager, why is this role open? Now, if you have to wait until then and say, well, tell me a little bit more why this is is there a vacancy? Is this an expansion? And you can learn a little bit more about it. But that will help you to tailor that 30, 60, 90. Because if the former rep was promoted, say, to another role within the company, and even if they left the company, you might be able to find out their name. This is just recently, I was able to do this. So I encourage you to reach out to the former rep, reach out to people within the company, and keep presenting your 30, 60, 90 along with those other documents in one PDF. Make it look sharp. Keep in mind the aesthetics. Delete the long M hyphen. You can use some of them. Okay, we're all using AI, but you have to own the message. You do this with your 30, 60, 90, and you will stand out. Hey, if you want to join Medical Sales U, we've been helping people to break in every single week. And I'll paraphrase that. Some weeks, on occasion, if we don't have someone land a job on one week, the next week we have two. But it's been averaging about one a week, sometimes two. And we've had people land offers at over 50 companies in the last year. So if this is you and you want to maybe advance into a new specialty like in cancer and oncology, check us out at Medical Sales U. Our program is still relatively small. You get to be part of a cohort, a community. I will be your coach. I will be your guide at least once a week. A lot of times it's on Monday nights. I'm coaching you, I'm guiding you. And then the quality of this course that you go through at your own pace is very helpful. You go through it, I teach you all types of tips and secrets. And then you jump on these calls on Monday nights. And sometimes we have them throughout the week too. But there's the practice. It's me coaching you and guiding you. I always say, look, Michael Jordan, even though he was the best basketball player in the world, he had a weakness, and that was his strength. He was getting beat up by the Detroit Pistons. He hired another coach in addition to Phil Jackson, Tim Grover, to be his strength coach to help in a weakness. And when you join this, I'm not just your teacher. It's not just a course. It's me as your coach and then this community of others who will help you to land a job. And our members are breaking in at over $160,000. We've had a number of people. We just had someone land a job coming in, first job in Big Pharma, making $249,000. And guess what? That can be you. Check us out, Medical Sales U. Love to have you in the program. I'd love to be your guide, your coach, and your friend. Talk to you soon. If you're trying to break into medical device or pharmaceutical sales, or maybe you're ready to reinvent yourself into a new specialty like oncology, our program, Medical Sales U, can help.
I'm extremely grateful for Dave Starrett and his program, Medical Sales U.
I'm now making $60,000 more than I was as a pharmacist.
I highly recommend the program. I just landed an incredible dream job.
Our members come from every background: nurses, pharmacists, teachers, athletes, and they're breaking in fast, averaging $151,875 in 11 and a half weeks. Many are earning over $200K. The industry is changing lives. You can change lives. Check us out from Medical Sales U. Invest in yourself, and let's get you in the game.